So we're envisaging a call for research proposals. We've got maybe 20 projects that we can fund over 3 years. We're very excited about the partnership with Foundation Botno and the NRF to make this happen, to make it a reality, to try to do some of the research for young people in the Global South with them and in a community of practice. And so I'm joined by our 4 thematic leads today, and I've asked them just one question. What kind of research proposals would they be really excited to see coming through this call in each of their areas of specialization? And I'm going to start with Krish. Krish, in terms of digitalization and digital inclusion, what kinds of research proposals would you be delighted to see?
Yes, thanks, Charlene. Well, the big question in the digitalization space relates to how advancing technology influences a young person's relationships and their collective well-being here in the Global South. If we just look at the digital inclusion problem, the question is, how does your exclusion affect your ability to build networks and social capital? And here across the African continent, our research has found that there are strong cultural biases that deny a young female student access to technology. So we can examine this using relational thinking, and we do this by analyzing the networks that influence her access to technology. So this reveals crucial community relational dynamics that contribute to this bias.
Great, thank you, Krish. Cindy Lee, when it comes to climate change and the climate crisis, what kind of research proposals would you be delighted to see?
Thanks, Charlene. So, for example, considering the limited research on how youth with disabilities are especially vulnerable to extreme weather events, projects that use participatory methods, so including young people, including youth organizations, and they call attention to the physical or social dynamics of how climate change affects their daily lives and future prospects would be really interesting. Or in contexts where rising temperatures impact learners who attend schools with tin roofing, research projects that investigate how those learners, their teachers, their parents collectively respond to these challenges would also be really interesting. Some methodologies for the study could include perhaps a podcast series that documents the different actions that are taken by the parties involved. And then a third example could be inviting young people from adolescent care centers in different contexts to participate in a series of social network interviews. So this is an innovative Global South research methodology that involves interviews conducted by research participants with methods of their own community and their own networks. And it can really help the participants to develop and strengthen climate action networks.
Great, thank you, Cindy Lee. Candice, in terms of mental health and young people and relational well-being, what kind of proposals would you like to see?
Thanks, Charlene. Our hope is to receive proposals that are going to address the big issues around mental health. And a particular issue that we've observed over the last couple of years is an increase in suicide attempts amongst young people. So if a researcher, for example, wanted to develop an intervention and wanted to do that in an innovative way, let's say through a chatbot, our questioning there would be, if you apply the relational wellbeing framework to this particular development of the chatbot, we would expect you to do 3 things. The first thing is you must think about how mental health, how suicide and other concepts that you might be thinking of are understood within that community. What are the risk factors and what are the factors that would promote mental health? Number 2, how young people can be meaningfully involved in the development of that particular chatbot. Not just about the content, but the look and feel. It has to be contextually relevant. And then number 3, how can you work with stakeholders, other individuals or other organizations that are invested in the mental health outcomes of young people. And the intention there is to build partnerships and thinking about creating a collective urgency around the work that we are doing. So this relational wellbeing framework is very valuable because it allows us to think about mental health concerns and that it does not exist in silos. And the solutions to mental health also does not exist in silos, but that we have to think about it in a multifaceted way in order for us to promote mental health amongst young people in the Global South.
Wow, that's fascinating. Thank you, Candice. And Angelique, when it comes to young people, work, employment, livelihoods, what kind of proposals would you love to see?
Well, Charlene, when you talk about understanding how young people navigate livelihood in the global south, it's very important to recognize that most don't do it alone. They do so in the company of close and extended family and friends and elders and other community members, and these relations are crucial for their well-being. The Latin American context, for example, alerts us to the reality that many young people are actually navigating livelihoods in the company of drug cartels and gangs. It is also common to see young people navigating livelihood within broken family support and structures and networks. In India, there are also examples of livelihoods interventions that have not resulted in valued outcomes for the young people involved because of the role of the caste system, for example, with some youth actually being stigmatized due to their involvement. So these examples point to the importance of incorporating a relational perspective. Relational well-being, we feel, allows us to focus on these varied contexts within which young people navigate livelihoods with insecurity, territorial inequality, social status, and labor market precarity that frame the potential for the well-being of young people in global south contexts.
Thank you, Angelique. That was really well put. And thank you to all four of our thematic leads, just for providing some insight into what these research proposals might look like. We're very excited to be taking this forward, and we really welcome critique and comment on how to take it forward in the most exciting and youth relevant way. These voices of young people from the global south, from researchers, are all going to be an important part of what we do to deepen our theoretical knowledge, but also the interventions that we offer to young people going forward. Thank you so much, colleagues.